Welcome to our channel, Mars Sunset Media. Today, we're exploring a topic that's both intriguing and sensitive. The top 10 ethnic groups with the highest rates of inbreeding. Inbreeding, or the practice of marrying within a close family or community, has been historically common among various cultures for reasons ranging from maintaining cultural purity to preserving wealth and social ties. However, this practice can also lead to significant genetic consequences and health issues. In this video, we will delve into the lives and practices of these ethnic groups, shedding light on how inbreeding has shaped their genetic health and public health challenges. From the Amish in the United States to Bedouin tribes in the Middle East and various communities in South Asia, we'll uncover the impact of inbreeding on these populations. We'll examine how these practices have influenced the prevalence of genetic disorders and what steps, if any, have been taken to address these issues. Join us as we count down from number 10 to number 1, revealing the unique stories and challenges faced by these communities. Whether you're interested in genetics, cultural practices, or just curious about how historical practices continue to affect modern populations, this video will provide you with a comprehensive look at a topic often shrouded in mystery. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest content. Let's dive in. 10. Amish. The Amish are a group of traditionalist Christian communities primarily located in the United States, especially in Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Indiana. They live a simple lifestyle, eschewing many modern conveniences and maintaining a close-knit, insular community. The Amish practice endogamy, marrying within their community to preserve their religious and cultural values. This has resulted in a relatively small gene pool and higher rates of consanguinity, which in turn have led to a higher incidence of certain genetic disorders. Ellis Van Creveld syndrome, a form of dwarfism with polydactyly, and several other metabolic and developmental disorders are notably more prevalent among the Amish. The inbreeding coefficient in some Amish communities is estimated to be as high as 0.15, indicating a significant level of genetic relatedness. Despite the health challenges posed by inbreeding, the Amish community remains steadfast in their practices, often relying on their own community members for support and healthcare. Genetic counseling and research have been introduced in some areas to help manage and understand these genetic disorders, but the cultural resistance to outside intervention remains a significant barrier. 9. Bedouins. The Bedouins are nomadic Arab tribes traditionally inhabiting the desert regions of North Africa, the Arabian Peninsula, Iraq, and the Levant. Consanguineous marriages, particularly between first cousins, are common among Bedouins. This practice is driven by cultural norms that emphasize family unity, the preservation of wealth, and the consolidation of familial ties. Consequently, Bedouin communities exhibit higher rates of genetic disorders, such as beta thalassemia, cystic fibrosis, and various autosomal recessive diseases. Research indicates that consanguinity rates in Bedouin populations can exceed 50%, with significant public health implications. The genetic disorders prevalent in these communities often go undiagnosed and untreated due to limited access to healthcare and genetic counseling. Efforts to address these issues are complicated by cultural sensitivities and the nomadic lifestyle of the Bedouins, which makes consistent medical care challenging. Initiatives to provide genetic education and promote healthier marriage practices are slowly being introduced, but progress is gradual. 8. Mennonites. Mennonites, a group of Anabaptist Christians, share many cultural similarities with the Amish, including a focus on community and simple living. Predominantly found in the United States, Canada, and parts of Latin America, Mennonite communities often practice endogamy, marrying within their group to maintain their religious and cultural identity. This has led to a higher incidence of genetic disorders such as maple syrup urine disease, MSUD, a metabolic disorder, and other hereditary conditions. The genetic homogeneity within Mennonite populations is well documented, with consanguinity rates contributing to the prevalence of these disorders. Mennonite communities are generally more open to modern medical interventions than the Amish, which has facilitated the establishment of genetic counseling and screening programs. However, cultural barriers and a preference for traditional remedies still pose challenges. Public health initiatives aimed at educating Mennonites about the risks of consanguinity and promoting genetic testing have shown promise in mitigating some of the health impacts associated with inbreeding. 7. Ashkenazi Jews. Ashkenazi Jews are a Jewish ethnic group with origins in the Jewish communities of Central and Eastern Europe. Due to historical persecution and social isolation, Ashkenazi Jews have a relatively small gene pool, which has led to a higher frequency of certain genetic disorders. These include Tay-Sachs disease, Canavan disease, and Gaucher disease, all of which are autosomal recessive disorders more common in Ashkenazi populations. Genetic studies have shown significant genetic homogeneity among Ashkenazi Jews, with certain genetic traits being more prevalent due to centuries of endogamy. Efforts to address these genetic risks have been robust within the Ashkenazi Jewish community, with widespread adoption of genetic screening programs before marriage and pregnancy. Organizations like Dor Yeshurun provide anonymous genetic compatibility testing to prevent the transmission of these hereditary diseases. These initiatives have significantly reduced the incidence of genetic disorders in newborns, highlighting the effectiveness of proactive genetic counseling and screening. If you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest releases. Thank you to everyone that have already subscribed. 6. Pakistani Muslims. In Pakistan, consanguineous marriages, particularly between first cousins, are a deeply ingrained cultural practice. This tradition aims to preserve family wealth, strengthen familial ties, and maintain social and economic stability within extended families. Consequently, Pakistan has one of the highest rates of consanguineous marriages in the world, with estimates suggesting that over 60% of marriages are between relatives. This practice has led to a higher prevalence of genetic disorders, including beta thalassemia, congenital heart diseases, and various metabolic disorders. Public health data indicates that the high rate of consanguinity in Pakistan significantly contributes to the country's genetic disease burden. Efforts to address these issues include public health campaigns to raise awareness about the risks of consanguinity, as well as the establishment of genetic counseling services. However, cultural resistance and limited access to healthcare resources pose significant challenges to these initiatives. International collaborations and research are ongoing to develop effective strategies to mitigate the health impacts of inbreeding in Pakistan. 5. Hutterites. The Hutterites are a communal Anabaptist group with origins in the Tyrolean region of Austria and now primarily residing in the United States and Canada. Similar to the Amish and Mennonites, the Hutterites practice endogamy to maintain their religious and cultural traditions. The small population size and communal lifestyle of the Hutterites have resulted in a high degree of genetic homogeneity. This has led to a higher prevalence of genetic disorders, such as cystic fibrosis, various metabolic diseases, and other autosomal recessive conditions. Genetic studies of the Hutterite population have revealed a significant inbreeding coefficient, underscoring the genetic risks associated with their marriage practices. The Hutterites are generally more accepting of modern medical interventions than some other Anabaptist groups, which has facilitated the implementation of genetic screening and counseling programs. Public health initiatives aimed at educating the Hutterites about the risks of consanguinity and promoting genetic testing have been relatively successful, helping to manage the genetic disorders prevalent in these communities. 4. Romani. The Romani people, often referred to as Gypsies, are an ethnic group with origins in northern India and a diaspora spread across Europe and the Americas. The Romani have historically practiced endogamy to preserve their cultural identity and social structure. This practice has resulted in a higher incidence of genetic disorders, including congenital myasthenic syndrome, various metabolic disorders, and other autosomal recessive conditions. Genetic studies have shown that certain Romani populations exhibit significant genetic homogeneity due to their endogamous marriage practices. Efforts to address the genetic health issues within the Romani community are complicated by social stigma, discrimination, and limited access to healthcare. Public health initiatives aimed at providing genetic education and promoting healthier marriage practices face significant challenges due to the marginalized status of the Romani people. However, community-based approaches that involve Romani leaders and culturally sensitive interventions have shown promise in improving genetic health outcomes. 3. Southern Indian caste groups. In southern India, certain caste groups have a long history of practicing consanguineous marriages to maintain social and economic ties within the caste. This has led to a higher prevalence of genetic disorders such as congenital adrenal hyperplasia, thalassemia, and various autosomal recessive diseases. Studies have shown a significant correlation between consanguinity and genetic disorders in these populations. The high rate of consanguineous marriages in certain southern Indian castes is driven by cultural norms and the desire to preserve caste purity. Public health initiatives aimed at educating these communities about the genetic risks of consanguinity and promoting genetic testing have had mixed success. Cultural resistance and limited access to healthcare resources remain significant barriers. However, efforts to integrate genetic counseling services into existing healthcare infrastructure and engage community leaders in public health campaigns are ongoing and show potential for mitigating the health impacts of inbreeding. 2. Saudi Arabians. In Saudi Arabia, consanguineous marriages, particularly between first cousins, are culturally encouraged and socially accepted. This practice aims to preserve family wealth, strengthen familial ties, and maintain social stability. As a result, Saudi Arabia has one of the highest rates of consanguineous marriages in the world, with estimates suggesting that over 50% of marriages are between relatives. This high rate of inbreeding has led to a significant prevalence of genetic disorders, including sickle cell anemia, thalassemia, and various autosomal recessive conditions. Public health data indicates that the high rate of consanguinity in Saudi Arabia poses significant challenges to the country's healthcare system. Efforts to address these issues include public health campaigns to raise awareness about the risks of consanguinity, as well as the establishment of genetic counseling and screening services. Government initiatives aimed at integrating genetic education into the healthcare system and promoting healthier marriage practices are ongoing and show promise in addressing the genetic health challenges associated with inbreeding. 1. Arab communities in Israel. Arab communities in Israel, including Bedouins and Palestinians, have some of the highest rates of consanguineous marriages in the world. This practice is driven by cultural norms that emphasize family unity, the preservation of wealth, and the consolidation of familial ties. Consequently, these communities exhibit a high prevalence of genetic disorders, including cystic fibrosis, deafness, and various metabolic diseases. Studies show that in some Arab populations, the rate of consanguineous marriages exceeds 50%, leading to significant public health challenges. Efforts to address these issues include public health campaigns to raise awareness about the risks of consanguinity, as well as the establishment of genetic counseling and screening services. However, cultural resistance and limited access to healthcare resources pose significant challenges to these initiatives. Community-based approaches that involve Arab leaders and culturally sensitive interventions have shown promise in improving genetic health outcomes and addressing the health impacts of inbreeding in these populations. As we've seen today, the practice of inbreeding within various ethnic groups has profound implications for genetic health and public well-being. From elevated rates of genetic disorders to the challenges faced in managing these health issues, the impact of inbreeding is significant and multifaceted. Understanding these practices helps shed light on the broader consequences of maintaining genetic isolation and underscores the importance of genetic counseling and education in mitigating these risks. If you found these insights into the world of inbreeding and its effects on different ethnic groups fascinating, Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into intriguing and complex topics. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you find most surprising about today's video? Drop your comments below and let us know if there are other topics you'd like us to explore. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.